Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Hypocrisy, lying, and fear. One of our current political parties has become a master 12th degree black belt ninja of all three of those. One party wants censorship, discrimination, and is fine with little kids shot to death in math class. The other has parades, tries to feed the hungry, and demands you call them by their chosen pronoun, which is really annoying. He, she, her, it. Tone it down. One party is following Hitler's playbook, while the other one is pissed about banning books. Which party do you think it is? You know, and it's not even one or two guys in the GOP who suckles at the teat of fascism like it's their mama's milk lumps. It's all of the GOP. And the funniest thing is how they Orwellingly use American words all the time. You know, freedom, free speech, freedom of religion, God-given rights, Constitution. And the funniest word they bend over a table and violate repeatedly, patriot. Let's go over what these patriots say and contrast it with what they do. Government can't force me to wear a mask. It's my freedom. So, in the worst pandemic in 100 years, they decided to screw over the elderly and the sick and refuse to wear masks. However, they will wear masks when they are Hylind the Hitler and saying that Jews should die. I guess somehow the only place it's not hard to breathe through a piece of fabric is when you have to hide your face so you don't get fired from your job at Walmart for being a Nazi. And, by the way, you can't lose that job because then you lose the discount for buying those khakis and tiki torches. Hypocrisy. Then we hear so much about these trans athletes. They're going to destroy sports. People, these are just kids who want to fit in because inside they don't feel like they do. They just want to feel normal and play some sports in school. And the American Civil Liberties Union found a grand total of under 100 trans athletes countrywide. That's 0.0000029%. They aren't going to take little Jenny's volleyball scholarship, so don't worry. Your little baby's going to get accepted to that Ivy League school. And then she's going to get pregnant in her sophomore year, have to drop out, and will end up teaching Pilates until she dies. 100 kids out of 340 million Americans, yet we have 45,000 people die every year from guns, kids cut in half in their classrooms, and the GOP does exactly jack shit. Hypocrites. The GOP keeps passing voter restriction laws in the name of fair voting. Well, the truth is, in the 2020 election, people, after numerous recounts and after Trump himself paid for the cyber ninjas and simpatico software systems to find voter fraud, cyber ninjas found 400 more votes for Biden. And the owner of Simpatico said this, quote, "Every fraud claim I was asked to investigate was false. Yet, the GOP keeps writing laws to make voting harder for minorities, for college students." Hypocrites. They keep bringing up Hunter and his laptop and the hookers that sat atop Hunter's lap. But Hunter hasn't worked in the White House ever. Hunter didn't make $640 million while working in the White House ever. Hunter didn't get $2 billion from the Saudis when he left the White House ever. Trump's kids did, by the way. Say it with me. Hypocrites. And I could go on and on with the made-up oppression bitched about by these pasty, whiny-ass snowflakes. And now the GOP wants to crash the economy by not paying our debts. Holy shit. They've also tried to assassinate the ACA and have talked about their invisible, magical healthcare plan for 10 years now.
We'll be filing a plan.
We have a really terrific, I believe, healthcare plan coming out.
We're going to have a healthcare plan that's going to be second to none. There are two plans coming out in a very short period of time. We're going to come up with a healthcare plan.
The plan is coming out over the next 4 weeks.
We're going to produce phenomenal healthcare. We're signing a healthcare plan within 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a very inclusive healthcare plan. I'll be signing it sometime very soon.
You know, we're the only industrialized country in the world without healthcare. The only country where we have more mass shootings than days in the year. And there's one party that made that bullshit happen. They also ran up a quarter of our debt in 4 years. Killed 1 million by not doing shit about the pandemic.
This is their new hoax. It's one person coming in from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine. Oh, we pretty much shut it down, coming in from China.
And then tried to overthrow the government and hang the vice president on January 6th. They bitch about censorship, then ban books. A teacher lost her job in Florida because she showed a Disney movie with a gay character. And this is after she got permission slips from all the parents. guys, why are Republicans so weird about who people sleep with? You get how creepy that is, right? Why would you think who people slept with would affect your kids at all? Are you really that ineffectual and lame as parents? And the saddest part is all of you who back the party of treason and Nazis is you think you have a reason. A theory about an imaginary deep state.
Deep state is real in America. It's about a deep state. A deep state.
Socialist, communist, Marxist. Deep state, deep state.
It's about a deep state.
And the swamp creatures, deep state, radical left, deep state.
That for some reason is so evil that it believes in what? Democracy and freedom? Freedom of speech and religion? Freedom to be who you are? Like the Constitution says? You know, Republicans don't want to follow any rules. Masks, vaccines, guns. You know, it's my freedom.
Screw your freedom.
But you sure as hell want others to follow your rules, don't you? And you want to take their freedom. And that, my friends, is the definition of a fascist. Hypocrites. This ends the lesson. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. God, man, these people are just, and you're just psycho all the time. Yeah, man, you know what I believe? Whatever that guy told me to believe. Go woke, go broke, bro. Apple's the richest country in the world. Company in the world. For God's sake, Apple is actually run by a gay guy. Yeah, go woke, go broke. Hey everybody, Christopher Titus Podcast, Armageddon Update. With me, as always, the lovely bombshell Ray.
What's up, people?
Very nice. And the Highlander.
There can be only one.
Wow, I feel like I should
I
start
didn't
over
sing
again.
You really need to do
I
that.
should have sung mine like he did.
You
did?
I yelled
you
it.
Did.
Oh.
No, you did.
I did more of an announcement yell, and he added.
Welcome to the Titus Podcast.
Oh.
It's a very high school play.
You actually just said podcast.
Yeah, I know. And I still cracked it. Not even sing it. Can't even hit a note.
You didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Yeah.
I did not. We have so all of us are we're on the ragged edge because he also has construction going on across from his place. So we have construction going there, and they are starting to get know us, and they're showing up earlier and earlier now.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been waiting for this. We ordered. This is right way. I just want to point this out. This is way before Elon Musk became a psychopath. This was
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago, before the pandemic. We had signed up to get the solar roof. And then the pandemic happened. They kept putting it off. We replaced 2 different electrical panels. It just kept going and going and going. And finally, they said,
Donald Trump really made us want to get off the grid, if possible, as well.
But I thought a powerful light would have
a powerful like.
eradicated
We're using that to
COVID.
put the roof
Gotcha.
on.
Gotcha.
So what's happened is now our yard is destroyed. We have
Just from feet, lots of just foot traffic.
No, there's equipment
wrappers and equipment,
crates and a crane.
Porta
Yes.
potties and
and flashing,
regular
and-
potties.
But they're putting the tiles on today, and which is pretty cool, and it looks pretty cool. I don't, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it's not done yet.
Bring it home, Daddy.
I'm tired.
That's why.
I didn't sleep at all last night. Guys, so why did I write the Armageddon Update? I was driving somewhere the other day, and there was a teacher who got in trouble in Florida because she played a Disney movie it's about the ecology. It's about like this family goes on this trip, and and
Of all the things to get in trouble for in Florida, play a Disney movie.
Well,
that makes sense.
So there's a gay character in the movie.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Gay
Oh
kid,
boy.
a gay kid in the character. So, it's Disney A, one strike.
Yep.
There
gay
were
character.
a lot of gay characters in Disney movies.
Isn't
Yeah,
there,
we did.
isn't there
Yeah.
always a gay character?
Yeah, there's always that lamp, the lamp in Beauty and the Beast, dude.
He's got a lot of flair.
Man,
that guy.
yes, he did. He took it in the handle a lot.
No,
What?
why? Why do you guys
He's a
always?
flamer.
Oh my!
That was the
gosh.
candle. That candle was a flamer.
Sandwich.
Exactly. We're never getting.
Sorry,
this
we gotta be look highbrow, lowbrow. That's why people like it, because we go up and down. I'm already getting sweaty. So anyway, so she got fired. I guess she got fired. She'd sent permission slips out to every single parent. Everything is signed.
She's
And
winning that lawsuit because
some
of that.
parent got mad, but it wasn't someone.
Which parent?
It wasn't a parent
Oh.
from the class. It was
Okay.
another parent. And I
Marjorie
heard-
Taylor Greene.
And it was super. Oh, dude, I thought that when it wasn't, but it sounded just like her. Just that aggressive.
Yep.
Aggressive. You cannot be indoctrinating my children to this, and there is no teacher that should be. And that whole Karen tone, Karen tone they got.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And I thought about it. I was getting mad because they keep talking about freedom and freedom of parents to teach their kids. But when I grew up, before Reagan raped the education system, everybody learned the same thing pretty much countrywide. So we had a shared experience. We had we knew the levels we got to learn, you know, and California had a little more, I guess, not even. We had the same book. The books were nationalized.
We used to get beat in school. I mean, that's how free.
The principal had a board. He had a board. It was this wide. It had holes in it, and it said education board on it.
Free to get whacked.
Yeah, we never knew anybody got hit with it, but it was a threat. It was just always a threat.
I went to a Christian school. I thought that paddle with the holes in it was unique to us.
No.
Sparing the rod and
I hate to sound like old guy talking, but my thing is trans kids. So I did research on it. There's the American Civil Liberties Union found out there's maybe 100, less than 100 trans athletes countrywide.
Yep.
Kids in school. Okay, that's again. It's.
I thought you said 40,000 earlier.
I looked it up, and you made me look it up. You go, that seems high, and I went and read it, and I was like, oh my God, you're right.
40,000. I'm like, okay, they have their hysteria. 40,000. It didn't sound right. I thought it should be more disproportionate.
Well, you were right, and you helped me make it even more contrasty.
or true.
and then we have but they won't do anything about the 45,000 people killed by guns or how many kids we lose. We actually kill more children now in mass shootings than we do have trans athletes.
Yeah.
And so, but that's the hypocrisy of it. They won't do anything about that.
And since when do they care about sports at all? Why is that important at all?
Well, I mean, as I was telling Ray, I go, how many trans athletes made it to the Olympics or took away someone's contract? I'm trying to think what, I mean, I think there was one guy who was a swimmer and he was trans and
in Virginia.
Yeah, there was but one in the entire thing. But yet we've got entire state houses mobilized to pass trans legislation.
But wait, they want to protect women. It's women in sports, right? They really want to protect women in sports.
Out of the 100 trans athletes, there's only 2 that were women playing men's sports. Sorry, trans. Listen, I'm gonna fuck it up. Started women becoming men, played men's sports. Yes,
but they don't want to protect women's reproductive rights.
Right, I forgot that too. I forgot. So yes, we need to
make it make
women.
sense.
We need to make sure that women have all the rights they need, and that some male isn't coming in and taking their things. What about then? They should be able to control their own bodies. Hold up now. Wait a second. Nope. So, and then they're talking about freedom, and the voting system is all screwed up. Well, the voting system is screwed up to you because your guy lost. Is that pretty much it? Your guy lost. That's it. That's it.
I think more than anything, I think that there has always been hypocrisy on both sides. And I know you hate that phrase, but in general, people that are trying to get reelected to keep their money in power, they can be about some bullshit. And so, but I think that the era of Donald Trump has really shown a light on that because it is the height of hypocrisy. Yeah. And the Christian nationalist movement has come to the forefront in tandem with the Donald Trump no matter what movement. And it stopped being about party or policy, and it's just Trump. If you just hear them talk, it's just Trump. And that to everyone is really the height of hypocrisy, and so, it really. But
Trump's fading. Like they're starting to talk shit about Trump, starting slowly. Well, here's what I'll say.
No.
Okay. Or, I can have an opinion too. I think that
he's
Trump,
not fading. You can have your opinion, but you can't have your facts.
I think with the Republican Party, he's fading. But here's the thing: he did open the door, and DeSantis is now like this. The stuff that DeSantis is passing in Florida is insane. They're going to close libraries. Kids aren't going to be allowed to go to libraries because they're afraid of the books they might read. No, can't read it. What they just pulled another book recently that was just like, what? Like the biography of Harriet Tubman, that's gone. You can't that's out of the libraries. Anything that says black people are good too, gone in Florida. Mm-hmm. Anything that says that says, hey, Bob, this Judy Blume book, who's got her best friend in the book is a gay character. Oh, nope, can't let that. And I kept thinking, what do you think these kids are going to do? What do you
Right. How does that prepare him for life?
It doesn't. And then I thought this too. The second these kids get out in the world and mom and dad are dying, gone, or whatever, the kid's on his own, he's going to be like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't know any of this shit.
You can't make people non-existent. They exist in the world. So why
history happened?
Yeah.
A really long time.
How can you try to hide this? Yeah.
But here's what I don't get. So I thought about that too. I thought, so you're a shitty parent. You're a horrible parent. If your kid comes home and goes, we read this book today on Harriet Tubman, I feel bad, which by the way has never happened because I read all the history growing up. We were taught slavery. So and were white people really that bad? And as a parent, if you can't go, at that time in history, it was just normal. People didn't think they were bad. But looking back, people shouldn't be enslaved. If you aren't a good enough parent to finish those 3 or 4 sentences to adjust your kid and send your kid down a path, then you don't. And by the way, I want my kid to read those books. Why the fuck do you get to shut the library down?
Yeah.
I want my kids to read those books. I want my children to understand history. I want my children to know that gay people exist.
Look at him.
I want people to know that. I'm just saying. No,
and pointing
I want my child to watch John Wick 5.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell and point at you. I'm just saying. But you know what I mean?
I came here to get away from hammering.
Yeah.
And this is worse.
This is verbal hammering,
yeah, both of you. Knock it off.
But doesn't that make sense? Of why do you get to pick what my kid gets to read? Why the fuck are your rules better? Why do you get to tell me what my child can read?
Because God said.
But he didn't. And they don't even claim that.
They don't? I thought that was what they did.
It's the grooming indoctrination or grooming children thing.
Yeah.
I never read, Huck Finn or whatever, Tom Sawyer, and came home and was like, I'm so bad. I never thought that. Once. You're a kid. You're not critically thinking through various, planes of thought. I just came home and was like, we read this book today. It was so cool. They built a raft. I remember all I got from that was I wanted to get logs and build a raft and a stick, and I was going to take off. And that was all I didn't think.
And I started digging a hole because I wanted to build an underground railroad. I wanted to actually put a train under the ground. I was like, that would be awesome.
There's no train.
That's how they got the slaves with the subway that Harriet Tubman built. She dug it by herself.
No, it was a railroad. It was like a euphemism for moving people.
Was that her sidekick euphemism?
Oh my gosh.
Is he also an escaped slave?
Oh my gosh.
Is that an African name?
No.
So I'm just saying that you're absolutely right. As a kid, never once did I come up and go, you know what? My God, my ancestors were horrible. I
never.
I think I have horrible pain and guilt now.
Not once. People used to do this bad thing, but we didn't do it anymore. Here's my best friend Gabriella in second grade, and that's not a thing anymore. And then we went and played on the playground. I never thought I should do that thing. I never thought I shouldn't have done that thing. I never was like, my parents were bad. I never thought through any of that.
Right.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I guess I could just say period.
It creates people that have more empathy. Not hiding stuff takes that away. It just reverses the process.
It's true. That's a great point. The more knowledge you have, the more empathetic you become because you have heard about and can put yourself in the place of someone else's condition.
Yep.
That's very true. It's me taking care of people that are dying. Changed my life. Gave me humanity and empathy that I never had until I did that awful thing. So you could try and protect me from that awful thing, or you could let me grow as a human being and form my own opinions.
Well, what happens when they get out in the world and they don't have their parents with them because they're adults, and that awful thing, whatever it is, happens, and they lose their shit? They're not prepared in any way, shape, or form. And I'm back. I just got this. Why do you get to fucking decide what my kids read? Why do you get to pick? I pay taxes. I pay taxes for this public school. I want my children to read Huck Finn. I want them to know about Harriet Tubman. Because you know what I learned from the Harriet Tubman story? That sometimes in the face of horror, you need to step up. And in the face of you dying, you still need to go. It's a hero story. And what bothers me the most is that people are just like, and oh God, it's all these fucking Karens, man, have just so much free time. Like, what are you? People aren't thinking what they're doing to their kids.
As of 2 hours ago, under Biden's administration, the department's proposed rule would allow schools to ban transgender and non-binary students from participating in sports in case by case basis.
But they couldn't do
It's K through 12 and college sports, education department.
Less than 100. What are we doing passing legislation for less than 100 people? I mean, even when Trump was president, they came out. Remember, they said we have no platform. Trump, remember that the last election? They said there's no platform, there's no ideas. They couldn't list the tenets of what they stood for.
Do you know that? And just as a side note to that, do you know that they still have not released a budget plan? Biden has. We're facing defaulting on our national debt, which is a bigger deal than most people realize. They still have not submitted their written proposal for the budget, but Biden has.
So exactly. So Biden's doing his job, right? He's 1,000 years old. I get it. He's Yoda, and he's got a bad hip. Fine, I get it. But he's doing his job, right? So these guys in 2020, they had absolutely zero plan, and they basically said it: vote for me, Trump. I'll fix it. As people are dying, like we have bodies stacked.
As he breaks it.
Yeah. You know, he was broken. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm the only one that can make this work. Motherfucker, you've been in here for 3 years now. Right. And we got refrigerator trucks full of dead people.
Well, I think that's what you're saying, right? It discredits their arguments about anything.
Right.
So we're not going to meet them on the middle in anything, including this kind of legislation for trans athletes, because this is all they're doing. They're not also simultaneously putting out a budget and a healthcare proposal
or infrastructure plan.
No,
remember they talked about infrastructure.
Anything. If they did something, then maybe on these kinds of issues, there's a meeting in the middle. Maybe there's coming to the table, but this is all they're doing.
But what that would show if they did that, if they go, by the way, yes, we want the, and people aren't, Biden actually dropped the deficit $1.7 trillion. So hold on.
Nobody's talking about that.
Which is weird. I think
Three times they voted to raise the debt limit under Trump.
I think the Democrats, so here's what I think they did. They're not trying to get rid of LGBT. I don't think that politicians give a shit that much. There's gay people all over the place. People know. What they're doing is they're getting the dumb people focused on something. Because dumb people are like, yeah, I fucking hate them. But they don't like it. So they get that going, and then they go. And by the way, the drag shows are grooming your kids. By the way, you know what happens at drag shows, at Sunday brunch drag shows? People sing Barbra Streisand songs
and play bingo.
Oh, and they sing they'll sing from Lion King. They'll sing some because the kids are there. They'll sing from the Lion King dressed up as Liza Minnelli.
But also, okay, I get it. You don't want your kid to see a dude wearing a dress. Don't take them to the drag shows.
Right. And don't watch Monty Python. Don't let them watch Monty Python.
It's always been that simple. Or Birdcage. It's always been that simple. Just don't do that thing for your kids then.
But why do these people think they have the right to tell me what my fucking kids can see?
Well, nobody did. So
No. I'm saying that these people in Florida are passing legislation based on a very small group of people that are amped up. So what the GOP is doing is trans, gays, can't say gay in school, ban books because they're going to make your kids feel bad about being white. Can't have that happen. And so what they do is they grab these cultural issues, they beat it over the head. So you're not voting for anything because they have nothing to give you. They have no health care plan. They have no plan to fix the deficit. They just showed what they did in the last administration. They ran up $7 trillion in debt. They're all about themselves. They won't vote out that they can buy stock whenever they want. And this is Democrats too. So, but the GOP is focusing on getting you angry. All they got is fear and anger.
Can I ask you a question? And I don't know the answer to this.
Is this devil's advocate, Sean?
Yes.
Okay.
Devil's advocate. Because in my mind, these things have been here forever, right? It's like you were saying, but not just gay and trans, Black people, immigrants, all of these things that are so awful.
Women.
I mean,
they're going against women too, by the way.
J. Edgar Hoover, right?
J. Edgar Hoover, yes.
He liked to wear dresses.
Yep.
So
he lived with a man.
Yeah,
for many years.
Ran the FBI, and so these things I think have been around forever. It's not
Lindsey
new.
Graham.
We're not creating new things. So because often you just see the left side, in my opinion.
Bring it on.
What do you think so. Like all we're hearing is them bitching about that right now. And that's it. And yet,
them being the Republicans.
Yes.
Okay.
And yet, is it because in response to, preemptive to, I don't know, to the far, far fringe left that's demanding that you do this and you accept this and you use this pronoun and you have to blah, 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 right? Like I'm wondering if there is a push and pull happening on these outer fringes.
That's a good point. I'm going to say no, because I just recently watched an entire interview with Roger Ailes to recut a thing to make it a part of a bit.
Right.
And he said,
nice video,
verbatim, thank you, sir, verbatim, the same complaints, the same talking points, exactly about
it's like
immigration.
Right? It's like 87.
It was in like 1993. And he was saying about the immigration, and
so
the border, and the and all this
that
people,
border
the culture,
thing's been
the
going
whole,
on forever.
all the same complaints about like pick a topic, and he said exactly the same
Gay
thing
people are,
to rile them up.
But that's what I mean. But you're kind of proving the point. So even the arguments have been going on forever, but they seem so loud right now because that's all we hear from them, and that's what this podcast today is about. Yeah. It's all they have. It's all they talk about. They're not stopping, guns. They're not this, but that's all they. But is that so? If they've been doing it since '89 at least, is it louder now because they are getting, triggered, and vice versa by the outmost fringes demanding that you call me this or this pronoun? Let me ask you this.
What are they demanding? That's what I want to know. What are they demanding?
Who?
The trans field, the left, far left. What are they demanding?
Well, the things that trigger them, what? Same bathrooms, call me this pronoun, she, her, don't call, or non-binary, don't call me she, her, call me they, them, all that stuff. I'm just wondering.
But I would say the gay friends we've brought this specific subject up to them at dinner, and they went, "That's bullshit. It's not even good grammar."
That was my
and I don't know
brother Jeffrey, who is living with a trans man, who was like, we think that's some bullshit.
And my daughter's in this generation where they're like, she's 2021, and I'll talk to her sometimes, and she's like, "Dad, it's ridiculous." I don't think and here's the thing. When you hear, who do you hear talking that they're demanding pronouns? Comedians are doing it. They've jumped on it. Everyone's doing the same hacky bit about this. I've seen Bill Maher talk about it. There was a quick time, but I think
Bill Maher, but also like
the bro guys.
Sometimes MSNBC, which sucks because now that CNN has been taken over by this asshole, I can't listen to that. MSNBC I listen to sometimes, and I can't roll my eyes hard enough.
There's a couple people in MSNBC that I'm like,
Don Lemon was one of them, honestly.
You've heard me tell you, but
God bless him. I wish him the very best in his future endeavors.
So CNN, but can we bring Chris Cuomo back?
I just saw him. He's doing something. I just saw an ad yesterday.
So here's what. All right, back to this.
Okay.
Yes, and let's say there's a reaction to that. Let's say there's a reaction to that. So to someone go, I want you to call me Steve,
or vice versa.
I want you to call me Steve.
Okay.
I want you to call me Steve. And people don't call me Steve, and I'm like, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but you call me Chris again, I'm like, my name is Steve.
Okay, Steve.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. That's annoying, by the way, in both ways.
But really weird.
Me demanding
that you can't not say thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. So, if I said that and got mad about it, and it was my name, I changed my name. When Prince changed his name to a symbol, he demanded people call him that, and he wouldn't answer to Prince. Okay, it's not a thing for the whole that society gives a shit about. Kids dying in schools, society gives a shit about.
I understand.
Nobody cares about little kids going to parents go to have brunch and go, they're going to sing the Disney songs.
Well, and that goes to that argument to the other side. This side is screaming, do something about guns, and this side is still screaming, gay people suck and trans people suck. Right. So that definitely, this is something I'm very curious about.
I'm just trying to weigh balances. Like so trans people aren't grooming kids. They're just and again, I'll say this. I keep bringing this up, and no one seems to grasp. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. If you choose, if in your heart you're born a man, inside you're a woman. Okay, fine. And it's so it's so ingrained in you that you know that.
Mhm.
You know it so much that you know what's about to happen. You're going to tell everybody that this man, who everybody's known as a man, is now a woman. I didn't mean to point at you, but come on.
Oh,
And
you're coming to me. Okay. It's Steve, goddammit.
Thank you. So they know, everybody on that edge knows, just based on societal norms for the last couple hundred years, that your life's going to get harder. It's going to get harder. There's going to be people that aren't going to be your friends anymore. As sad as that is, there's going to be people that don't agree with it. There's going to be people that think you're going to be odd because they don't have any grasp of it because they've never felt like that before. And then you're going to spend all the money you have because it's an elective surgery. It's not insurable to change your body, take hormones that are ridiculously expensive. You're going to spend all your money. You're going to take the ostracization. And I don't mean turning yourself into an ostrich.
Good try.
Thanks, man. What's the word I'm looking for?
Ostracization, but it's a weird word.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Ostracized. You're going to be ostracized.
Okay.
And you're still going to commit to that. At one point, I go.
But this is beside the point.
No, it's not. No. Here's what I'm saying.
I think you just made the best argument to answer my question.
I just want to finish. You know where I'm going before. I just want to say, if those people believe that, and they're going to go to those links, I fuck with them. Okay, you're already signing up for a nightmare. You're already signing up for it because you believe in yourself that much, who you are. Good. I wish more people had a sense of self in that way. I do.
I feel like we got to play.
Go ahead.
I believe the children
and now,
are
welcome
future
to Devil's
now.
Advocate.
That was like really touchy-feely.
No, I'm not touchy-feely. I'm just saying.
I really think that you maybe answered the argument with what you said, that you brought up guns. And then I thought, well, if the question is when the far left argues something, are the far right just pushing back with this far right ideal? And they're not, because the far left is screaming at the top of their lungs about gun legislation, and the far right is not.
Nope.
They're actually
not gonna change
although I guess what they're screaming back is 2A Constitution, my amendment, but more than anything, they're screaming back about trans and drag
now we're
shows.
back to hypocrisy. So you can scream about 2A all you
Most
want.
men who molest little boys are not gay. About 20% of all child molesters that the Zero Abuse Project studied were homosexual. Only 20%. Nearly 80% of the men who molested little boys were heterosexual, and most of these men were married and had children of their own.
And so hey, by the way, again, welcome to facts. So
because you said grooming your kids, and
they're always talking about the groomers. What are you talking about, man? You got me off track. Now you freak. Now you get me. By the way, I want to be so all you people that hold on to these things like, oh my God, the groomers and this and that. We had someone who knows us said all those people in Hollywood just they're pedophiles. Ray goes to a relative of ours
she said
who we love.
They're pedophiles and they're drinking babies' blood, and I was like, you're talking about
all those
us.
people in Hollywood.
You're here visiting because we're filming a production.
You're in my house.
We're filming the show for the COVID thing.
Yeah, and we're okay. And
you're talking about
just
us.
Kind of was like,
yeah, it totally fried the circus. Snap, just totally flipped.
I just gave you wine. That's not baby blood.
100%.
Speaking of all that, this episode brought to you by Butcher Box. I don't know. I didn't have a segue, but
there is none. I think in this show there's not going to be one. Butcher
you're
Box.
Stressing me out today. You were less stressed with the hammering. Now you're more stressed here. You drove traffic.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah. Between the hammering and traffic, it's been that.
Butcher Box
calms me down.
Does it meet?
It does.
Like a good,
like
good box of meat at the end of the day.
I'm gonna come. You know why? Blood rushes my stomach. My brain shuts up. I turn into Homer Simpson. Thank you, Butcher Box.
I love Butcher Box. Butcher Box has really been one of those products that has simplified our lives.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Yes, we may have turned into my grandparents. We are Gene and Bobby, but we have a garage freezer and it is packed with meat for Armageddon.
Hey, we call that our garage freezer.
And yep, I think.
Why go out and get stuff?
Yep.
When it's in that garage.
Just go out to the garage and get it.
Go, that's right.
You can grocery shop in the garage. That's what my sister said when she visited, when she was taking care of me during surgery. She said, this has actually been so easy and amazing. She said, your household is very easy to run. I said, what does that mean? And she goes, it's already done. Everything. She goes, I go in your garage at night and I just shop for dinner. She goes, I feel like because she lives in an apartment, doesn't have a lot of space. She goes, I feel like I'm at the grocery store perusing what I want to make for
Not
dinner.
only do we have a freezer for the butcher box stuff, we have a pantry.
We have an outdoor pantry as well.
That's where the babies are kept.
The baby blood.
Yeah, that's where.
But we started that.
It's gonna be like, hey guys,
We'll be like, chink, no, chink.
I'm just gonna do drive-through.
Leave Wyatt, chink.
I'd like to place an order for a pickup.
Of course, we don't want Wyatt because he
chink.
only
Hey, by the way,
eats
do these
certain
graphics,
things.
chink.
Yeah.
Butcher box. So in our freezer, we have it separated.
Yep.
Well, me have it separated according to
Me have it separated.
chicken, turkey, steak.
Keep it simple.
Me have meat separated by type of meat. Cow, chicken, pig.
Yeah.
Thank you, butcher box.
So if you
You
do
can get
have
anything, by the
cow, it's 100% grass-fed beef. If you have chicken, it's free range and organic. The pork the pig is raised crate-free, and all the seafood is wild caught. I keep looking over there, but the camera's moved. Also, you get free shipping always, which is super awesome. Don't have to leave your house. You can pick your box or choose from one of the ones that they have already set up for you. I picked mine because I like being creative, and they have new stuff every week, it seems like. And so also on their website now they have recipes, so if you don't know how to cook, if you don't know how to butter baste, you can go to the website, look up a recipe.
That is so helpful.
Yeah.
If you can just go to a site now, I love the internet because you can go to a site, get a recipe. I love that Butcher Box did this.
You guys know that he likes chicken thighs and he likes steak from Butcher Box.
Yeah.
Butter basting and tortilla chip breading.
Yeah.
Butcher Box is
Panko.
giving us a special deal. It was not panko, it was tortilla chips. Sign up today using promo code Titus to receive ground beef for a whole year and $20 off your first order. That's 2 pounds of ground beef for free in every box for a year, plus $20 off of your first order when you go to butcherbox.com/Titus and sign up and use promo code Titus. This was the deal that my dad waited to come back before he signed up. I get 2 pounds of ground beef in every
for
box
the rest of my subscription.
for the whole year.
Of what I'm doing.
Not
Okay.
the rest of your subscription, for the whole year.
Oh, it stops at one point.
And $20 off that first order. My dad was like, sign me up.
It comes with a razor.
I want to say one thing about being wrong. You know, the division in our country currently has to do with. Oh, by the way, and I read about the division in our country has to do with people not agreeing on what is right. Would you say that?
Mhm.
What people? There's people think the election was stolen. Well, Trump
Yep.
has now paid for 2 companies. Cyber Ninjas took 6 months, found 400 more votes for Biden. Okay, then he paid Sequoia Systems, whatever it was. And that guy said, they told him, investigate these exact things. And he came out and said in the statement, everything they told me to investigate turned out to be false. So we have now proven with Trump's own money, with guys that he hired, that the election was not stolen in any way, shape, or form. They said out of 20, they did 25 million votes over. They said over 25 million votes of those, less than 475 had any. And by the way, it wasn't people all voting for Biden falsely. It was a lot. Like of those, 411 were Republicans who used their dead parents' ballots to vote. That was some of them. Some of them were guys that didn't know that they couldn't vote as a felon and stuff like that. So here's what I'm saying. So people that keep sticking to these theories, whether it's QAnon, baby blood, whatever it is. Well, the COVID therapy, there's been so many studies about the COVID vaccine. The COVID vaccine does nothing to you. It's an mRNA vaccine. It's not a thing. It just tells your system to recognize something so your system can form an immune response. That's all it does. Once you get the facts, because you want to be right? So you've told me something. Right. So these guys are like, no, the election was stolen. I'm like, well, here's this study done by Trump's guy. Here's this study. Here's all these guys. Here's all the information. Here's the facts. And when you still hold on to being right, you're fucking way more wrong. So if you want to be right, why wouldn't you just go, all right, those are the facts. Okay. Those are the facts. And now you're right now. And then you get to actually be right. I don't know the mechanism that people are holding on to continue to be dead fucking wrong over and over
Well,
and over.
I think it's what I told you is that, so in order to be a good debater, you have to acknowledge what is. And what is some people died from getting the COVID vaccine.
Not true.
That is true.
Nobody got killed.
Look it up on the CDC website. But that is the exception, and the exception never proves the rule. It's so rare. And so that vaccine for the greater good saved so many more lives. And very, very, very rarely people had anaphylaxis reactions. They had thrombosis with TTS. Or GBS, the Guillain-Barré syndrome. I'm looking at the CDC website, myocarditis and pericarditis. These are things that CDC are saying, how rare, and they tell you how many per million. The exception does not prove the rule in life.
What's the how many?
But for Republicans, if there's one trans swimmer that wins a meet or whatever they call it.
Several studies reported.
You're not listening to what I'm saying because you have a problem with me saying.
No, you're right.
I know I am. I've looked it up on the CDC website. But in order to seem credible, you need to acknowledge that that's what is and say the exception does not prove the rule. That's the exception. It's very infrequent. The polio vaccine killed a few people, but it saved millions of lives, right? And the Republicans, they latch on to this one incident and say, that's it.
And I think to your point about the fact that people are reactionary, I think the internet and social media are playing the biggest role in creating. So if somebody wants to hold on to that one bit of information, they've got enough people in their corner in a little social media group to go, no, I'm going to stick with this because my people, we think this.
Yeah.
And
this group.
We believe this one bit of information and we're going to run with it.
Yeah.
And that's my team.
But there's no critical thinking. And that's what I've said about that it seems that is growing in that side is that people are not thinking through, and he's so gone on
it's like I know I want to see what the number was. I want to see what the percentage was.
But you just went away.
No, I heard everything you said. I was listening to both. I have ADD. I can listen to both.
What?
I have ADD.
Did you just throw that in?
ADHD is probably.
Well, there's two of them, but yeah. Attention deficit disorder.
Oh, and
ADHD.
Hyperactivity. That's the H.
I don't have that.
Oh, look at that. Was nice.
Wow.
See how chill that was?
Like,
Hey, I don't
but
have
you
that
do
at
that. You're
Late
one
night.
of those
Very white.
arguers that only does this.
Yeah.
But
only
the
because
truth is, yes, it killed some people, but not a lot, and it saved way more lives, and that's true with just about any medical practice.
But the mortality rate is, so here, okay, so you say that I do that. I don't deny that there's certain things that people are going to react to. By the way, some people can drink a Coke or have a spoonful of peanut butter and die.
But you did deny it. You
No,
said
I wasn't.
instantly that's
No,
not
I
true.
was saying-
Prove it.
No, what these people are saying is that when I'm getting it on the special, because by the way, special's out on Christopher Titus TV on YouTube, Zero Side Effects, the whole thing's out for free. Go watch it. They're saying like, dude, I can't even believe you do that pro-COVID stuff, man. I thought you were smarter than that. You know how many it killed? This is one of the quotes. Ready? COVID killed for every 8 people got the shot, 7 died and 1 lived.
Lordy.
And I'm like,
so they're taking that one kernel and extrapolating
and it
it
was like-
incorrectly, like as if.
and it's like out of 1 million people, 1 million people got shot, 11.
So
That
out
every
of that,
medical
do
thing
you
does.
remember that whole myocarditis thing?
Yeah,
You
that happened, and it went away. But some of
5 to 11 years old, 23 verified reports after 23,376,785
literally 1 in a
doses.
million.
In 12 to 15 years, 376 verified reports after 25,913,707. Like, so yeah,
So
It's statistically
literally 1 in
zero.
a million. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this when people say that, I go,
it is about.
I
one
go,
in a
I go. It does. I go. That's not true. And I don't mean. Yes, of course. You know, someone they may have had a whatever. 1 in a million. Okay, but 1 in a million is not someone going, I'm not getting the shot because I could die. Well, you play the lottery, fucker.
Now they're taking. They take that, they run with it, and then if anybody gets sick or dies of something, they're going to go, oh, they got the vaccine.
Well, they've
They got
done
the
that.
vaccine. And it's just they apply it to everything.
Everyone.
But this is that. Okay, so but this is literally defining critical thinking.
Yes.
So this is literally defining it. So if a million people got this shot. Now the people that didn't get the shot, of the people that didn't get the shot, 39% died of COVID. This million, we had one guy got myocarditis. Mm-hmm. I think I'm rolling my dice on this one. I'm going to pick red.
But
go here.
Somebody then takes that story with the proof and starts posting it everywhere on social media.
Yep.
And I would really have to wonder if that's still part of a Russian disinformation campaign that we have proven was happening before, during, throughout COVID and since. And is still, for sure. And so then people in my family will go, see, look at this lab report. This is a verified lab report, blah, 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 blah. This person died. And it's true, but critical thinking would tell you it's not the common outcome.
It's not even, like you said, statistically zero.
It's actually
out of a million people. So when that happens, though, that's my whole thing, is that if you're going to have a conversation with me and say, well, 1 out of a million people got myocarditis or died from the COVID vaccine. And I go, well, 3 out of a million died from polio. And again, people that didn't get the vaccine have lifetime lung, liver, heart, or brain damage, and 39% died. Guess what? It wasn't 39%. It was like 3% with COVID. 3 to 4% people died, depending on how it was. Early on, it was much more. It was 12%. But all that shit aside, have a conversation with me, a critical thinking conversation where you go, 1 in a million.
It's like, it's the Goebbels thing. It's, if you hear this enough, Goebbels. If you hear something, this little kernel of information enough, it becomes fact in our Cro-Magnon brains.
Eat the same lie,
and
it's
locked in.
Donald Trump does that brilliantly. Speaking of staying healthy, I'm still looking in the wrong place. This episode brought to you by AG1 by Athletic Greens. This is something I do literally use every day.
We started using it really hardcore during COVID, the lockdown too,
because we wanted to be able to run fast.
Yeah, and have
they don't claim it makes you run fast, but we think it can't hurt. So. Is that a baby? Is that a baby? Crying?
I thought that's what
Is that Chappie wheezing?
It's the adrenochrome that we're working on. There's a little pump back there.
Oh, it's the babies in the locker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we've got a whole mass of like 9 babies pumping out adrenochrome.
I'm always looking for a good life hack, and so AG1 is one of those. I don't have to take a bunch of pills. It makes a big difference for me in my gut health, in my energy levels. It also is helping with hair, skin, nails, things like
definitely. I feel healthier.
It gets delivered to my house, so I don't have to leave the house to be healthy. Come on, I don't even have to get out of bed to get it. I could actually have it come to the front door and say, babe, could you put a scoop in water and bring it to me in bed? I'll be in insane health.
You know what it does to me? If I have it before I have coffee in the morning, I don't have that weird, like, you got hurt from coffee. You have too much. I drink a lot of coffee in the morning.
It helps you not have to have as much coffee.
Yes, I agree.
Because otherwise you're drinking coffee and getting jittery, and this gives you...
There's a crap load in it. That's what's great about all those vitamins, minerals.
It gives you like a stable energy throughout the day. 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients of the highest quality. Gut and mood support, boosted energy, healthier looking hair and nails.
Can confirm.
Don't have to take a lot of pills. Don't have to leave your house. I love that too. So all you guys right now, you can take control of your health. You don't have to take a lot of supplements. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D. Comes in a dropper bottle. You put a drop in the shaker bottle, add a scoop of AG1, shake it up with some water.
I just do it.
You do? Oh, really?
Yeah, I just drop it.
I put it in my thing. I thought you were supposed to.
I don't know. Sometimes I see it in the thing. I'm not like that.
I guess it doesn't matter.
I forget about vitamins and stuff sometimes. Sometimes I'll just see it. I'm like, boom, 4 of those, boom.
Yeah.
So I leave the little dropper bottle right there on the shelf. So you just put it in.
Right next to my creatine.
Oh, God. Interesting. I didn't know that, because when I make your AG1, I drop it in. Anyway, comes in a dropper bottle. You can do that, or you can do this. And so you get that you get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/Titus. That's athleticgreens.com/Titus.
Good stuff. It's funny, we're getting advertising requests from companies, and we really like companies that do good for people. You've noticed we have a theme, like we sit and discuss this one. I'm like, nope. And then you're doing it now. You're like, this one doesn't really sound like us. I
don't know, like being with mom and going to Ojai and all that, you really learn how much what you put in your body makes a difference in everything else. It's all connected. It's such an amazing machine. And
exercise.
So they may not say it helps you sleep. It is in here, but it does because your body is, you're getting these things that are good for your body. Mood. They may not say it helps your mood, but it's like all these things work together to make you work more efficiently.
Evening out after I have AG1.
Yeah.
I want to continue to talk about this stupidity. We were talking about critical thinking. So this thing that Fox does and right-wing politicians do, where they come up with a phrase, we were just talking about, go woke, go broke. And then I looked at it and I go, Apple has $3 trillion in cash, and the CEO is a gay guy named Tim Cook or Tim Apple.
Right.
I was telling you this, man, and we were talking about this. I couldn't remember his name, and he said, he goes, Tim Apple. I said, and he goes,
I was joking though. It wasn't like I didn't make a mistake.
Yesterday I couldn't remember it because of him.
Because
I'm
Trump.
going, Tim Apple. Tim Apple. I was like, Tim Apple. Oh shit, I forgot the name.
Because that news bit made the rounds.
But do you see how? And dumb people love when shit rhymes. They love when shit rhymes. That we now have a whole branch of 30% of society. I don't know if God, I hope it's not that much, who just seems to latch on to whatever is told to them by right-wing media and then go for it. And the problem that Democrats have is they don't. Everyone's got their own opinion, and I'm important too. And everybody has their own thing. Well, I don't think that, because everybody's critical thinking. Can you fuckers just stop critical thinking for a minute? Can we focus?
Get together.
Hey, get together on one thing. Let's get through
Gavin
this.
Tell you guys. So
let's just get through the shit, and then we can start thinking our own again. Buddy.
We talked about the budget.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all of these Republicans are very concerned about our spending and
same people that spent $7 trillion.
Our fiscal stability, and everybody's they're pearl clutching
when they're not in control. Yeah,
almost 25% of our national debt was accumulated under the one term of Donald Trump. This totals to nearly $8 trillion further in debt for our country. Also, remember that Republicans controlled the House and the Senate for the first 2 years when Donald Trump was in office.
Yep.
He had all of them.
That's how they passed the tax bill. That's why they spent this money.
Interesting. That's why spending continued to spiral out of control and put us further into debt, because he did have control of all three branches.
Do you remember when the bill came up and everybody said the CBO was like, hey guys, this is going to fuck us. They basically, that's what it said. The bill that will fuck us. That was the paper they issued to everybody, and we're like, and they're like, no, it's not. And
that's in the letterhead.
Yeah. Now Biden's in charge. Suddenly they're upset that we're spending and we got to have budget cuts and blah blah blah. Also important to remember that our economy gained over 500,000 jobs in January alone this year. That was just in January. Every month he's going and reporting on how many jobs we've gained.
800,000 manufacturing jobs.
Unemployment rate at 3.4%, which is insane
years.
At any time, especially coming out of a pandemic. Yep. Wages are increasing. Finally, we didn't have that.
5% up. Yep. I know all this shit. You know why? Because I'm ready for the argument.
Oh, I know. Oh, boy, do I know.
You married me.
Oh.
I just, I have so many people, because of this podcast, a lot of comics don't they're like, I don't want to deal with it. I want to just do my jokes. I don't want to be part of it. I want to get everybody on my side. There's a point, that's why I love Carlin so much and Bill Hicks, is because those guys didn't give a fuck. They were like, this is what's wrong, and our job is supposed to be Mark Twain, Will Rogers, Lenny Bruce, Mort Saul. Your job is supposed to all guys that really
die alone.
Die alone and kind of penniless. But that's not the point.
The border. I'll just say again, they had control of all three branches for the first half of his entire term. The border problem has been going on forever. Even you were talking about the 80-something video with Roger Ailes.
Reagan actually gave a 12 million illegal emancipated them.
Illegal
immigrants. Sorry, my brain's going too fast because you keep talking. I'm trying to get my shot in.
Oh, you've been talking a lot. This is where I was going to throw in some factoids.
Can I put one more thing about the Trump thing, though?
Please do.
So Obama ran up the deficit, too, but Obama got the economy tanked. Economy shit the bed. The mortgage crisis happened. Trump was handed Obama's economy. Obama's economy had 3.6% unemployment, and black and minority unemployment had gone from 17% to 11.6%. And it was going like this. The economy's going like this. And Obama was like here, and then Trump shit the bed with it.
Yeah.
And Obama was known as the deporter-in-chief.
Deporter-in-chief. Deported
the
over 2
black
million
Democrat
people.
guy was known as, And then Trump came in and had all the branches. Do you know how long 2 years is? Let's just sit here for 2 years in silence just to see. Go ahead.
I hear the babies right there.
Can't take it.
I wanted to say who would say the first word, and I thought it would be him,
me.
but it was interestingly you.
Yeah.
He couldn't. He's worse than you are.
Well, you and I did that thing where we locked eyes, and I was like, "You want some of this? Let's do this." Yeah, exactly.
That's our whole marriage. Oh my God.
No, it's not. I mean, it has been.
It's mostly.
Okay,
it's all.
You're right.
100%. It's probably 110%.
Right. We agreed on that, though.
Not really, because I think it's more.
And I'm not in the middle of that, so I'm like, well, welcome to the Highlander podcast.
Hey, now I'm going to sing a
There can be only one.
About she became a lesbian. That'll be his whole podcast.
Good.
All right, we're going to take some callers now.
So, do I have a lesbian? Slam. Click. Next caller. He just won't even talk to anybody.
What is your pronoun?
Yeah.
This episode also brought to you by HelloFresh. Speaking of hello.
Another great company. Man.
HelloFresh is the shit. I also love this company. Another thing that I could stay in bed, have it come to the front door, float out of bed 30 minutes before dinner, and make magic happen.
She'd be good at selling blankets and slippers. She does.
Come on. Where are the blankets and slippers?
Robes.
I'll do that. Let's do it. Oh, robes. Pajamas.
And shades and door locks and security. And I think agoraphobia is creeping
Dickie's
in.
made pajamas because she wears them all the time. Yeah. Never wear them out.
I could.
HelloFresh is a phenomenal company, and I don't know, what do we have? What do we have recently?
The best thing, I think, the best thing in the last month was the tacos.
Tacos were
the
great,
ground pork
yes.
street tacos, where you make your own slaw and you make your own crema with what's the stuff that people cilantro think tastes like dish soap, or they either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
I love it. My brother thinks it tastes like dish soap. And all of that, and making the meat for the tacos, all of that took what?
Oh yeah, so that's why I ate the whole thing. I ate all of them. That's why I should send the photo.
Wait, that was 8 tacos.
Hey,
no,
I'm a big guy.
Wait, it was 12 tacos, right? 3 per plate.
I turned all the meat into like four times. Remember, because it was like a pile. That's why I sent the photo.
Yeah,
it was just like, I don't care what this looks like. Forget plating schmating.
I didn't understand
this looks
that's
amazing.
Plating schmating. That's it.
It was also on a Frisbee, I think.
Yeah, it was like one of Wyatt's like kid plates.
Yeah,
I had to grab an extra plate.
It's not a kid plate if it says whammo on it.
Yeah.
That's a Frisbee. It's a kid plate. No, it's a Frisbee.
I didn't get why you. Got it
right.
now. So making fresh slaw and a crema and the meat, making it into tacos, I think took me less than 15 minutes.
You keep making it. It shows up, and there's a thing, and you just go bloom, ding.
Explain
next, boom,
what
ding.
you're saying.
Then you get a menu, you get a recipe with it, and then it all shows up measured out. And
it's like Pictionary. You get an easy
exactly.
view.
It's like you don't have to listen. If I can cook it and make it look like the picture, It's super easy.
You know what helps is that if you put there's like a lot of steam, right? And some whatever cooking oil is flying up and you can't see anything and your glasses are fogging up, but you can still see the how-to pictures right there. You're like, okay, what am I doing? Yep, got it.
You wear glasses to cook? Even though you don't
weld.
And why is there oil and steam coming up? How crazy is it going?
I'm learning to cook.
Is this a meth lab? Like what is why?
It sounds very Breaking Bad.
So you can kind of choose how you want to do this. That's what I also love about them. You can choose your category, like if you want fit and wholesome, if you want family, you can choose 4 servings. You can choose 1, 2, 3 times a week or 2 servings, whatever. So it's tailored to you. And then you can go every week and pick your recipes. They will auto select awesome ones for you because they're super cocky. Yes. And they're especially now they are really changing because they're doing seasonal stuff. You can do pescatarian, veggie. There's something for you. Choose your recipes. It's always kind of exciting every week to choose the recipes because then it's like Christmas. You know what's coming and you get to try this and then you'll see some of your favorites come back. If you want to try this, go to HelloFresh.com/Titus16. Use promo code Titus16. You get 16 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Titus16. Using promo code Titus16, you get 16 free meals plus free shipping.
It does feel like online dating for me at least. You get to choose your fit and wholesome. Ooh, I'll take that. Spicy.
America's
I'll take a little spicy.
#1 meal kit, not a dating site.
Not a dating site.
Don't want to raise your expectations.
My point is that these guys keep saying, the GOP keeps talking about we're about freedom and the left is trying to take the freedom away, and I don't see it. I see
they're full of shit.
I see you banning books. I see you taking voting rights. You see taking women's rights. I see you making it so criminals have to stay. They're not like pot. They want to keep people with that pot still in prison. Like it's like everything they do is anti-freedom except the freedom to own weapons, which they seem to be fine with. But they're taking those kids in those schools who get every mass shooting victim their freedom away by not doing anything. And so we've become, it's so funny, man. I remember seeing like 1984 and in reading 1984 and thinking that would never happen in America. It will never be this Orwellian. And we've got to a place where it's just so Orwellian. Marjorie Taylor Greene just filed impeachment. Of course. Impeachment for Chris Wray from the FBI.
It's not even that. It's
based on the Durham report.
It's all of the Durham report. This is their whole new thing. It's because they're going to cherry pick a sentence and be like, haha, instead of, it's like you said, he killed 3 people, but they are really stuck on he was wearing shorts when he killed 3 people. Yep. It's all of it. It's Mitch McConnell saying that it was his high moral standards that wouldn't allow him to put Merrick Garland into the Supreme Court nomination 8 months from an election. And yet he pushed Amy Coney Barrett through and early voting had already begun.
I'm surprised he knew those 3 words together.
Yeah, it's just people were already voting.
She got put on the Supreme Court 8 days before the election.
But people were already voting, is my point. Right. 8 months.
Yeah, but McConnell was never going to own up to that. But so what I don't get for these people that vote, because again, I don't blame the con men. The con men got the job because they're fucking con men. And I would even put Dianne Feinstein in that group because she will not. Does not. You can say you're for America.
She won't know she's in the group.
She doesn't know. She's not aware.
It depends on the day.
Who are you nice people? So I would even put Dianne Feinstein in because you're willing to sacrifice for your ego the good of the country. You can't do that. If you are what you say you are, you're done. Chuck Grassley, you're done. Go. And people would say the same thing about Biden and even Trump. Trump's 2 years younger than Biden. And I kind of agree. I wish we didn't have these old psychos running. Of course, then we're going to get young psychos. But
it's now so quiet about the border. Biden even said it was probably going to be chaotic, but it hasn't been. And now they've pivoted. Now we're on to the Durham report. That's what they do.
Can we talk about the Durham report for a second?
Spin and pivot.
Because I got a panic call from her yesterday. driving home, and she's like, "Oh my God, the Durham report came out."
But okay.
You were amped up a little bit.
Because this is how I usually talk. Oh my God, the Durham report has been released.
Yes, exactly. It was exactly. She always turns into a villainess from a movie from the 30s.
Okay.
When you're upset,
I like it, darling.
You did call me amped up. You were upset about the Durham report. Because what CNN had done.
You know me. I said, "What's going on?" That was what I said.
See what I mean? I'm right. See, did you see that?
Because I assume he's listening to it, and I hadn't. I had just gotten in my car, and CNN was on, and they were saying that it proved, Donald Trump was vindicated in some ways, and so he called, and I was like, "What's going on with this Durham report thing?" And you said you hadn't seen it.
And then we find out that the Durham report basically. So John Durham was a guy that Bill Barr put on. It was his attorney general. It's whatever.
Barr appointed him. He was a special counsel.
Special counsel. He was supposed to look into the Russian collusion stuff to prove that Trump had nothing to do with it. Well, Chris Wray was just on. Chris Wray was on MSNBC the other night, and they were talking about the Durham report. I mean, he goes, "We knew it." He goes, "We know he was doing it. We know the Russians are doing it." He goes, "The problem with Durham is that Durham was a Trump flunky." And it's true. So Durham didn't say any charges need to be filed against the FBI. He said that the
two that he tried failed.
There was 3 cases he lost, flat out lost. But you're right. The 2 that they went in, and one of the head of the jury came out to talk to the cameras after this big trial that was, and said, we could have used our time on something else because there was nothing there. So Durham, the report came out yesterday. 0 recommendations for charging anybody. He said the FBI did overstep their bounds, and by saying things like it was like, nah, you shouldn't have done me, and then CNN, who is now run by a right wing guy named Chris Licht, and did you see CNN's ratings, by the way, since they fired Don Lemon, everybody, and they put Trump on, fucking dive below Newsmax.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
below Newsmax. CNN's rating went below Newsmax.
I don't think it's because they fired Don Lemon.
Our ratings are better.
We this podcast got more.
He was deeply skeptical of the foundation telling Congress that spying did occur. That was Barr. So Barr hired him because he said spying did occur. I know that Durham did say that he felt like they used cognitive dissonance in the investigation, that the investigation shouldn't have happened the way that it happened, right?
They were like, Trump's a scumbag. Let's go get him.
Yeah, it was kind of what he was saying, right?
By the way, Trump just got basically sexual harassment, just has to pay $500 because he's a scumbag.
Also, wasn't Trump praising Putin?
All the time.
On his own.
Yeah, on
NG.
I can solve the Ukraine thing in 24 hours.
By siding with Putin. Right?
Yeah. So his case is he had 2 acquittals and 1 guilty plea. It was a former FBI lawyer, Kevin Kleinsmith, pled guilty in 2020 to altering an email relating to the surveillance of an ex-Trump campaign aide.
So now we're back.
He got probation.
So now we're back to they're going to take that one thing.
Yes.
And say the whole thing.
Yes.
The whole thing was bullshit.
The FBI acted too hastily and relied on raw and unconfirmed intelligence to open the investigation. So do you hear how saying it was raw and unconfirmed, he never says whether or not it was
true.
confirmed. Yeah.
Whether
it was ultimately confirmed, and they were hasty.
Tisk tisk.
So we paid this guy millions of dollars.
Opened the probe. The FBI had no concrete information about any actual contact between Trump associates and Russian intelligence officials.
They did have a server from Jared Kushner.
Well, they found that.
Yeah.
So they proved what they thought to be true. His whole stance is that they didn't have it. He says they fell prone to confirmation bias, not cognitive dissonance, but kind of the same thing.
Wait, I have a question. So
do you see what I'm saying?
They thought, okay, wait, this guy's a scumbag. He's obviously, we know that he's actually tried to do a deal with Putin in Russia. We know that he had his beauty contest at Russia. We know that he's gone to Russia since 1987. Maybe he's got contact to Russia. So then they go, let's investigate. And then he says, it's because there's cognitive dissonance or confirmation bias. Oh yeah, just because he goes to Russia and hangs out with Putin doesn't mean he's hanging with Putin.
Yeah, right.
What? What? Yeah, exactly.
And that he was building Trump Moscow and had offered the penthouse to Putin, which was worth $50 million, and then lied about that during the campaign and said he wasn't doing that. And not only that, was also, we found out, had Chinese bank accounts that he kept.
You're being hasty.
You're
being hasty.
Yeah, you know what? We don't get hasty. We're going to have to write a report.
Wait, is this my confirmation bias?
Yes.
Was this like when Jared and Ivanka took $2 billion? Jared wasn't at the Capitol siege because he was flying back from Saudi because they were paying him $2 billion, even though the Minister of Finance of Saudi Arabia advised against the government giving them $2 billion.
Yes.
Is this?
And by the way, he got
am
the
I
$2
being
billion.
hasty?
And by the way, I
on
don't
you.
want to get hasty either, but they also made $640 million while they were working in the White House.
680 is what they claimed on their tax returns.
Guess what Hunter Biden didn't do? Work in the White House or have a job with his dad.
My family member asked me that.
This boy's a crackhead.
My family member said that. How do you feel about Hunter Biden and his laptop? And I said, I feel like, thank God he's not in the White House. Thank God his dad didn't bring him in and push through a security clearance and put him in our government.
Thank God he wasn't paid by the Saudis.
It's so funny because she does it so like her mom. She does it classy like Sharon would do it. I'd be like, well, okay, Hunter Biden is not part of our government, never has been, isn't, and whatever. And at most they found with Burisma, it's like $3 million. Okay, it's okay. Okay, whatever. Let's say, because by the way, I totally get a crackhead going, my dad's a vice president. You better give me a
cash
job.
that in.
I totally get that. I don't think Biden, and they actually just found out, that whole thing that Jim Jordan tried to do. Jim Jordan did this whole thing, and they found absolutely zero evidence that Joe Biden had anything to do with it.
Fine. He's not in office, so I don't have to worry about him. He's not under my purview.
But you know what I'm saying?
There are all kinds of crackheads up and down this street, right there on the street corner, that I don't have to worry about what they're doing or saying.
And they still claim that Joe Biden is their dad.
Exactly. Here's what
this straight out here.
Here's what Durham ultimately said. He said his team considered but did not ultimately recommend steps that would curtail the FBI's investigative authorities, including its use of tools under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act to eavesdrop on suspected spies or terrorists, but did not ultimately recommend that. They thought about it. They considered suggesting that.
You know what we were going to do?
Yeah.
We didn't do it.
That's what he said. He suggested that an idea would be to provide additional scrutiny of politically sensitive investigations by identifying an official who would be responsible for challenging the steps that were taken in a probe. But they decided not. But that could have been an idea. But they decided not to do that.
We were batting it around. We threw it against the wall. It didn't stick. Moving on. Here's the report.
Good enough.
So do me a favor, people. If you're right wing, I'm fine with that. I don't mind you being a conservative. I am fine with it. Because there was, we have people in our lives that are conservatives, and they're decent people. They're decent human beings, up to a point. Sorry, I had to do that. But I'm just saying that if you get the facts and you hold on to what you know is not true, you're still wrong.
Are we being alien invasion? What is that? Or a T-Rex?
If Tom Cruise drops through the ceiling and then shuts down, throws a flash grenade and kills the podcast, what is going on?
By the way, if you want to see this live, this fun banter, go to CB Live this Thursday, the 18th. That's in Northern Phoenix, Scottsdale area. Stand Up Live in Phoenix, the 19th, 20th, and 21st. 5 shows only. Please come out and see us and say hi, especially if we know you and you've been out before. And then on the 26th, Dayton Funny Bone, 1 show only. The 27th, Liberty Township. That's outside of Cincinnati. You know that. 2 shows only. And then Sunday, the 28th, Toledo Funny Bone. And then June 1st, you can celebrate LGBTQ Pride Day. So
both of us have new shows. Come see them. I thank you to the Rec Room and everybody in Huntington Beach for coming down this on Sunday. It was a great show.
You took your son.
Standing ovation.
Your son's interested in trying comedy.
Oh, you don't need to tell anybody that. I don't want anybody to know.
He wants everybody to know, which I think is going to be his downfall.
What if he sucks, though?
He's 100% going to suck.
Everybody does it first. Everybody does it first.
We all did, but he's
He's been told his whole life how great he is.
That he's great. And so I think life can be very cruel in general, but especially if you expect it to be kind.
Especially stand-up comedy.
Oof.
Guys, do me a favor. Go to Christopher Titus TV. Watch the special Zero Side Effects. It's really good. And it's triggering people in a very funny way. It's so funny when you tell people the facts. I wrote that to a guy. I go, if I wasn't right, you wouldn't be mad.
True that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
if I was just a moron spouting bullshit, you'd just laugh in my face.
Doth protest too much.
Yeah. By the way, also go to Apple Music and get the album Misanthropics by the Willing Bureau.
New music coming out.
New music coming out too.
Alpha Chick, go watch it.
Yep.
Give me a good review on Amazon.
It's all and Special Unit too.
But also our new podcast that we talked about. I spun this idea and a lot of you guys sent me an email on my website, which was pretty cool, which was partially the reason why we decided to move forward with it. It's called Knock 'em Dead, and it's coming out the first week of June. And it's all things
two idiots
that you need to know about
death.
And
we hope you
all aspects of
listen, when you're around death, we all it's I think it's the one thing everybody's afraid of. And we've been around it now enough to where between my dad, your mom, grandma, I feel like I'm okay with it now.
You were not okay with it, and you were not around it until grandma. And it was during grandma you sat and you stayed and you did not disappear, even though you may have wanted to.
I
and
did
it
on Mom.
Forced you to see it. And you said you have a new perspective on it now.
But us two comedians are going to help you get through the rigors of rigor mortis.
Not approved. That bad.
Not approved.
That's not
Cut.
of the list
No,
of potential
that doesn't
slogans.
go
we're gonna be talking to like hospice people and stuff, and everybody who deals with it to take the scary out of it. We take the scary out of it. That's what we want to do. So it's called Knock 'em Dead. It's her lovely idea, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Who knew I'd end up being the death girl?
I think everybody in your high school.
Oh, right. They're like, yeah, come on.
She was then, she is now. Again, go to Christopher Titus TV, go to ChristopherTitus.com. If you guys want to get any merch, there's a new t-shirt design coming out. We will have it pretty quick. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. For myself, the lovely bombshell Ray and the Highlander.
And now with the fun facts. Fun facts.
You forgot to mention the
Fun facts. And now it's Highlander's Fun Facts with the Highlander. How many can there be?
Only one.
All right. Sorry.
Death, scary, fear. Alfred Hitchcock, master of horror, was afraid of in real life. What do you think?
Death.
Spiders.
Nope.
Oh, I thought that was the setup
Play-Doh.
for the question.
Mm-mm.
Alfred
Close.
Hitchcock
Hot Wheels. M&M.
was terrified of silly putty.
I'm just gonna
Pretty
list.
much. Eggs. He was afraid of eggs.
Eggs.
Exactly.
You know, I get it. I
He just said exactly. Back to you.
Did you say that
Yes.
really?
Did.
Wow.
He did.
I've been holding on to that all
Wow.
day.
Ladies,
Wow.
don't
That's-
call, don't
that is
write.
one of the worst-
He's
that
not
is
available.
One of the worst.
Currently a dad.
One of the worst
Look.
yokes I've ever heard.
No,
So, what just happened?
you guys make me want to running away.
Oh, it could be a chicken.
Damn it.
So, yeah, I'm coming out of my shell on this one. I want to say I get why eggs are weird. By the way, okay, don't think about eggs too hard. If you think about eggs too hard,
You'll crack.
They're
All right.
well, that's
It's
okay.
but you're eating
How many more?
babies.
Well, it's not
Babies.
that, but it comes out in its own packaging. Number one,
Mhm.
inside there's something that could be dead, or could be an omelet, or could be
an eyeball.
alive, or could be an eyeball. You don't know. I don't know what yolk is. Like
1 week more and it's clucking.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I eat eggs because of the protein. I do not.
It's like in
think
its third trimester.
The
By
Tesla people were at our house today and they had to come in and he cooked eggs again. Thank you, Zach. And our house smells like farts. It's just pure
it won't
stank.
So there's a great way, guys, if you want to do this, you can cook eggs in a microwave, and I didn't believe it worked, and it worked so good. Take eggs, put them in, get 2 paper plates with the round ones, and then you put them on top of each other.
You just mean paper plates, not
Paper
round
plates.
ones. Just
Well,
everyone knows what a
not
paper
the,
plate
but
is.
not the flat white
You're
ones.
such a guy.
Not the flat
That's a
white
paper
ones.
towel.
There's no, you know the crappy flat white plates though,
He means
like a decent one.
like regular paper plates. Yeah.
like rigid.
You're a guy. You're
By the way,
like,
Chinette.
It's from
you
Whammo.
oddly enough, Chinette is what you don't want.
Crack the eggs in it, and
Yep.
then make sure you break the yolks, because I found this out, because boom. And then put another paper plate on top of it and cook it for 90 seconds. You will have the perfect eggs.
And your house will smell like
the
farts
inside of an
until
anus.
3 days later.
Yeah.
Lysol, we have the windows open,
we got
the fan going.
above the thing going, woo! And
You
still-
know they walked in like, okay.
wow, what are these people? A lot of cabbage in this family. They need solar because the power company wants to turn them off.
All
for
that
being
methane is going.
Exactly. The house is a danger. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Sorry about the fun facts. I missed it. Do you want to say anything else? But thank you guys. By the way, we've had so much fun with this.
Quit being weird.
and it's
That's what I
gotten
want
better.
to say.
Yeah,
All
quit
of
being-
this could be solved by my motto. Quit being
Quit
weird.
being weird.
Just stop being weird. If everybody quit being weird, like we were talking about the fringe left people, the fringe right, just quit being weird. Just live your life and quit being weird.
And stop thinking about what other people do. I don't sit around thinking my straight friends doing it.
But that's part of not being weird.
Yeah, don't be weird.
That's weird if you think about
right.
that.
Quit being weird.
Right.
Thanks, guys. For myself, the Lovely Bomb Show and the Hinder later.
Peace out.
Make a busy one.